Hello, friends. Are you among those who are thinking about Agile? They are thinking and wondering, what is Agile? How can I get more information about this? Can I understand this much better? Do I really have to go through the extensive trainings before I understand this? And the answer is no. You can pretty much learn the basics of Agile, how it works, what are the kind of areas we have to understand, what is Agile all about. So I thought, let me start a new series in Moise Live, our channel, where we will discuss a lot of educational stuff. And this is the first episode of Agile. Today we'll talk about very basic of what is Agile and what are the fundamentals behind that. And then as we progress, I'll take you through all the details of how to do it. I'll share my experience, and then we'll learn from each other's experience. So please make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you get to know the next videos as soon as it's uploaded, and you keep a track of what is happening. So today let's begin with the very basic of Agile. What is Agile and what it means to us? What are the kind of areas we need to cover in Agile? So let's talk about the very basic principle of Agile. So what is Agile? When Agile was started, and it was in 2001, where the basics of Agile was brought into place, and the consortium of 17 delegates, they started thinking about how can we move from our traditional ways of working to a new style of operation, and what should be that, and how should we ensure that we don't fall into the trap of failures of every project or most of the project which used to happen in the traditional waterfall. And through the serious and extensive discussions, they came up with something called as the Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto is basically statements which talks about the mindset and how can we uncover better way of developing software, and how can we help each other, how can we make sure that we deliver value to our customer. And in the Agile Manifesto, there were four important statements which were designed and put into, and these statements are very unique. What they talk about is how should we shift our mindset, what should be the areas where we should be focusing versus what are the areas we used to focus on. So the language which is used in this kind of manifesto is like the things on the left which you see in the red here are the areas which we need to focus on more than what is on the right. But that doesn't mean that we have to really ignore what is on the right. For example, individuals and interactions over processes and tool. So when we talk about individual interaction, we talk about collaboration, we talk about how can we understand our customer by talking to them, by working with them, rather than just having processes where we are or just following or using some tools and we assume that those tools will help us out. In reality, it is interactions and individuals collaboration which should be focused on. On the second statement which you see on the screen, working software over comprehensive documentation, and you will see a lot of language of software in these principles, because these were created or designed or compiled rather by people who were working in software. But actually over time we all have realized that Agile is not only for software, it applies to almost all the industries. And that is why when you read this document, or when you read this manifesto, just elevate the statements where you see software and think about systems or think about solutions rather than thinking about just software. So working software or working solution over comprehensive documentation. And this is very important, because many of the Agile implementation people started believing that because we are working in Agile, we don't have to really follow documentation, but rather we want more disciplined documentation, but we want more concise documentation. We don't want to create like thousands of pages of documentation and nobody is using it. We want the documentation to be very, very crisp, and we should focus on working solution or working software. The next one was customer collaboration over contract negotiation. It was quite common in those time, and that applies to even today, where we are very, very clinical about contract. We want to make sure that all the possible clauses are part of the contract, which becomes a difficult part, which creates a bit of a challenge when we want to change things, and we don't want to get into that. We want to create a sense of partnership with our suppliers and vendors so that we can deliver things more faster and more appropriately. Yeah. And the fourth Agile Manifesto was responding to change over following a plan. What does that mean is that Agile makes us to think and respond to changes rather than reacting to change. Agile doesn't mean you keep changing without any sense of urgency or sense of need. Neither Agile want us to blindly follow our plan. Plan are important, but planning is more important than the plans. Because plans will change, but the process of planning should not, and that is what the manifesto tries us to talk about. So in this particular episode, we want to just focus on this manifesto. Have a read. I'll also upload the slide in the description so that you can all see it and use it. And I'll keep posting the subsequent material. Please feel free to share your comments and your opinion how you want to do this, and all the comments and opinions are valid, because remember, we want to start with interactions and I want to figure out how to do this. So this is my first attempt to get this to you. Let's see how you like it, and please share your comments and likings, please. And if you like this episode, please make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, which is Moist Live. Thank you.